What is going on, guys, and welcome to another weekly update. And if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing if you are looking for stock market analysis, and also drop a like to help with the YouTube algorithm if you would be so kind. And where we left off last week, what are we going into this week? We've finished with a lot of big tech earnings. Amazon and Apple, supply and demand is a big issue, and we're seeing it affect. We saw that with Snap over a week ago, and now we saw that with Apple. We saw that with Amazon. Tesla's still doing well. Google's still doing well. Something to keep in mind going forward in the next couple coming weeks. I think those ones are really going to soak up a good majority of the money in the markets. I do believe, though, however, that we're going to get some circulation out of big tech or FANG here in a couple months, and then it'll rotate in the mid caps and smaller caps from that point. But I think considering we just had big tech, I think we got another good solid week or two of big tech really running. And then I think from that point, they're probably going to start stalling and coming down. And then there'll be the mid caps, small caps that will start doing the running from that point. That is essentially what I'm thinking so far. Again, it can go each and every way. That's why I have daily updates to keep you on track on what is going on day to day, because it does change day to day. It does change hour to hour and minute by minute. So being said, this is why we have to be agile. Now, that being said, let's go into the upcoming week. Got a lot going on this week. This is essentially what I'm looking at as far as earnings. I'm looking at Square, looking at QCOM, looking at Activision this week. Mostly for these, aside from Square, I might actually try to play the run up for Square. But ultimately, I'm looking for continuations on these. I want to keep these on the radar. And then depending on how they do, if they blow past expectations, I'm looking to play continuations on these. Again, and still continuation on all FANG this week because there will be a lot of money, especially in Tesla, Google, and also, again, I think Facebook, it looks like it wants to start recovering. Apple and Amazon are also started recovering, as well as Shop. So there's a lot on that list this week. So there's still a lot of money, a lot of big moves, I think, coming into this week. But the biggest concern this week, as far as events go, is on Wednesday. Wednesday at 2 p.m., we got Federal Reserve statement, and then the 2:30 we got Powell press conference. So being said, keep on your radar. I think the volatility is not gone away. We might see. We have to see how the market reacts. If the market is sitting at a standstill on Tuesday, going into Wednesday, possibly even selling off into Wednesday or staying flat, that can be concerning because the market really wants to see what's going on. Then from that point, I think, again, towards the later of the week, we'll just pick right back up wherever we left off, which is continuing this bull run very much so from the standpoint. Again, I think we're going to run in the next couple months, and then going into the new year, I think it's going to be very, very cautious going into that next quarter. We still got a long time. We're just getting through this quarter, but going into that next earning, that Q4 earnings, is going to be interesting, and you're going to want to be cautious, I think, around that time. But being said, watch this week: Tesla, Google, essentially all the FANG, Apple, Facebook, Shop, Square, SC as well. I think all of these look good coming into this week. But get in SPY, you want to look on the daily. On the daily, yes, we continue to go up. We just broke all-time highs, and we're continuing to run quite a bit. How much gas do we have in the tank? Well, right now, we don't really have a lot of bad information. The only thing that's hovering around is essentially tapering. We all know it's coming. Canada just essentially threw it out there that they're stopped the buying of assets. Being said, that's kind of where it leaves us. That is essentially what's going to be the next thing. And we know it's going to come sooner than later. And I think Wednesday we'll finally get the information on what exactly is going on. And then the tapering will occur. The volatility, I think, will come back a little bit. We have to see how the market is going to digest that. So it might sell off just to digest that information. That's why I'm kind of cautious around Wednesday. going into it. Again, I think Tuesday would be the real tell on how that move might happen. Again, if we start selling off, it's taking risk off the table. If we stay flat, I think that's a more positive sign, especially the overnight session between Tuesday and Wednesday. I think if it stays flat overnight, I think it's a positive sign that they're not too concerned about it. Going right up until 2 o'clock, I think we might see a pullback. And then, again, whatever he says could go either way. We have to wait and play a continuation from that point. Again, the reason why I think fundamentals and events are extremely important, because you need to know what's going on in the market and take risk off the table when you know there's an event coming up to bat. So again, that's pretty much what I got for SPX. I want to take a look at Bitcoin too. I think Bitcoin's actually going to break some back to all-time highs, I think is what is a possibility. We did retest that 20 on the daily, and I think this is going to go for 70. I think Bitcoin is really going to make a big move in this market in the next couple months. I'm planning on actually taking profits going into this next big push, and then essentially pulling my money out of the market and waiting until we get that crash. Now, considering that there's so much going on with Bitcoin and everybody's coming into Bitcoin with payment systems, PayPal and all that, and the mass adoption that's going on right now, yes, I think we could really exceed and possibly even try to, I hate doing price targets. It's not what I do. If everybody says 100K, maybe we'll float close to that. I'm not waiting to that. For me, I'm going to start pulling money out once we start really rocking up, and then again, sitting on that money, waiting for crypto to come back down and get some kind of crash. I don't think we're going to crash all the way back down to 10K. I don't think that's a possibility. I just don't think that's in the cards at all, to be honest, because every major crash, we do establish a new base. So that's something to keep in mind. And then once we do have a new crash, where is that new base going to be at? Maybe we go all the way back down to 20. Maybe we stay at 30. Who knows? We won't know until it happens. I don't want to be there at the peak of this. I think this is the last major run before that happens. So just keep that in mind. Again, this is not financial advice. You can do whatever you want. This is just my opinion on what I believe is going to happen with Bitcoin. So Tesla, obviously the first one. I mean, this has been a beast even after hours. It ran. Was waiting to break this that 1100 all day, and then finally broke it after hours and went ripping up. But ultimately, I want to see where this is on Monday. If we gap up, are we going to gap up to 1150? Come back down? Is that a strong possibility? I know last time before the split, Tesla ran pretty high. I want to say it ran to 1250 at some point, and then it kind of died out and then split, and then obviously we essentially consolidated for almost the whole year, and then we started having these major pushes again. So that is a cycle with Tesla. Is it runs heavy in the fall, and then even into the early new year, and then it drops off from that point, and then it's been kind of consolidating. We saw that pattern last year. I want to see if that happens again this year. It's just a strong possibility with everything going on. So we'll see. But again, I want to see where this is Monday. I'm not actually in this. I've played a couple different swings overnight on this, but I want to see where this comes down on Monday. Google, actually we'll hit Apple first. Apple, interesting, started popping back up. I think could see some real strength, go for all-time highs, especially if the market just continues. The market is just so bullish at this point. I could see us at least attempting to try to hit all-time highs. Given I think we got another couple weeks before there's a rotation out of FANG, I think we could attempt to go for all-time highs in Apple. Facebook, obviously, I mean, this thing has been beaten down so bad. I'm looking to see where this is at on Monday. It's got all that metaverse stuff that came out, the renaming and everything. If you're in crypto, gaming is going nuts right now because of what Zuckerberg has been talking about on that space. So I think this will start gaining some momentum and start pushing above, especially if you can break this wedge. I think it's something to keep a lookout during this week. midweek, especially sometimes if the other ones are struggling, your Teslas and Facebook start stalling, or Tesla, Apple's, Google start stalling. At that point, you might see some money flush into Facebook and start really pushing, because it hasn't done that in a while. And I think it's going to recover a lot of this very quickly from that point. Google is the next one I have. Google monster move. It's had some major price target upgrades at that 3,100 mark. I really want to see how this moves. Today I had another monster move here, but it is it's dying out here at the essentially that 2970 mark. So I really want to see how, if this breaks come this week, or if we start to pull back. But I definitely want this price point. If we do break above this, we're going to get a squeeze and start really pushing from that point. Then we got the 3K mark. If we break the 3K mark, then again, all those round numbers are what to watch, the 3050 and the 3100. So, and then the next one I have is Shop. Again, monster move yesterday. It took this little baby jump today. But again, I want to see, I think this one could start pushing as well. It's had major upgrades up to, I think, around well over 1,600. So I want to keep that on watch and see where this one goes in the coming days. Again, I think a lot of these have been beaten down, and now we're going to start seeing that cycle where FANG is just going to carry a lot of it. A lot of it will, mid caps, small caps will struggle, and then when FANG starts to stall, we'll see that rotation in the mid cap, small caps, which typically is like 2 or 3 days. And then from that point, it rotates back in to FANG. FANG starts running a little bit. And then from that point, it starts to turn over and go from there. So we have to see how that plays out. So SQ, this one I think is really being set up well going into this week. Obviously has earnings on Thursday. We're wedging nicely. I think actually Monday this might start pushing. We might get a little bit of a push, at least to 270. It might stay in that range at that point. Might retest here the 265 and then kind of just bounce back and forth until it has earnings, and then possibly make a move up. I mean, they've always done extremely well during their earnings, and now that Bitcoin's pushing up, it's been pushing up. I'm sure they'll see some profitable side on that as well. As far as Bitcoin, I don't know what their averages on their Bitcoin, but I think they will actually benefit from it this time. And then lastly, I do have SC. SC I think is actually having a breakout and a retest. I think as long as the nice thing about this is not just e-commerce, right? It's also the gaming space as well, and the gaming space is going to be huge in the next couple of months. Especially with crypto and everything and NFTs and all that stuff. So being said, I think you got a daily wedge breakout and a retest is what this looks like on the daily. I want to see, make sure it holds this 342 come Monday, and then I think we could start making a push back to all-time highs. And again, with this bull market, I think it's going to be pretty crazy with SC. So being said, or with FANG and all the stock market in general is just going to be really bullish going into the new year. And then from that, like I said, then the new year, I think we're going to fall back. I think the tapering won't really have much to do with anything. Unless, again, there's some major announcement. Again, Chairman Powell nothing has come out saying that he has been renominated either. I know people have not nominated him, but he hasn't actually come back. Are essentially signed for that next term. So that could be meaning that they're looking for a replacement. That could bring some volatility to the market. New chairman, not knowing exactly what their moves are going to be, could bring a lot of volatility to the market, and something that could drop any day, possibly even Wednesday. So you have to keep that in mind. This is why bullish at heart, but still mining the risk, still mining events and what is going on. Again, I think everything is kind of out there. There's nothing as far as inflation and all this other stuff there's nothing really new there. I think that, again, the biggest kind of lurker is the chairman slot and what is going on with that. And then lastly, I think I don't think I added this watch list, but coin. I want to definitely keep an eye on coin, especially if Bitcoin starts ripping. If Bitcoin starts ripping to 100K, I think this is pretty much just a buy and leave it in there and let it run, and keep a stop on it until Bitcoin decides to to die out. We could possibly, you know what, we could possibly even see this. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit this 450 on this run, especially with the amount of momentum this coin can get with Bitcoin. And then with the NFT space, as soon as that comes out, I think coin is really going to explode. We do have earnings on this coming up on the 9th. So being said, it could really get this thing to explode, or it could get it to sell off. Again, it's been running with Bitcoin, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But definitely one I think you should be keeping on watch. One I've definitely been dropping almost every video. So, but if you've made it this far, you got to hit the like button and you got to subscribe. Till next time, guys, I'll see you guys later.